Is there a strategy that I could have used when I was earlier on in my business career that involved just putting myself in front of very high impact, high reputation entrepreneurs and just, having, I don't know, almost by proxy, showing them what I was doing, impressing them or something and having them in my network? There's this young man, Santi, who reached out to me about a year and a half ago, just as I was starting my YouTube channel. He watched one of my YouTube videos, and this is back when I had I don't know, 500 subs or something. He was like, "Hey, I really like this stuff. I know this is out of left field, but I'm very similar to you." He wrote me this big, big long essay. And then he said, I'm just at the start line of my business. I want to provide value to you. I want to help you. So I'm going to do all this stuff for you without you even asking anything. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. So what naturally happened over the course of the next few months, as my business grew and as I started getting leads and stuff like that, when I had a little bit of overflow, I naturally sent them to him. Well, I checked back in on him. We're in contact every now and then. He sends me a message asking me for something and, giving me something from time to time. And he's now running a business that's making over 30 grand a month. And I'm like, no freaking way. He's like, well, dude, a lot of those leads that you initially sent me, I've since grown the accounts for, I've delivered a lot of value for, I've gotten referrals and stuff. And I was like, damn, that's the side of things that I never really explored. But like the partnership approach, when you reach out to people that, you like and that you have similar values to, put yourself in front of them, find a way to like deliver and offer value, and then just position yourself as like the natural person to do things like give leads to or give shout outs to. Yeah, I bet you there's so much alpha in there. And anybody that, maybe is here watching that wants to build one of those $1 million businesses with AI, very reasonable approach, right? Santi's going to hit probably 400K this year, which is, not $1 million, but it's getting pretty damn close. The amount of time it takes to hit, 50% of a number is much, much longer than the time it takes to go from 50% to 100% of a number, if that makes sense. He could do that within the next 12 months or so.
100 did RuneScape. Thought it was anything. It was definitely that. It's also understanding this is interesting one, what opportunity looks like. Like a lot of people think opportunity is, Nick, I've got a check for you for $20,000. Please come and do the thing. Opportunity could just be, hey, dude, do you do these kind of services? Like there are missed opportunities and seized opportunities. I think a lot of people look gift horses in the mouth, or they don't quite recognize what an opportunity is if you're not action orientated and actually physically do the thing and get the reps out. So you've got to see those things, shoot your shot and do the thing. When what led to the sale of my last business, ironically, we got listed in the newspaper. I've told this story before, but it was interesting that it was getting featured in the Times newspaper that led to the business reaching out. Very small action, growth-oriented action, did an interview that then led to a conversation. Had we done that conversation, would have happened. Yeah, at some point. But you've got to take you never know where opportunities lead, or you don't know who you're going to meet that adds what kind of value. So if you can systematize your growth, if you can systemize that outreach and taking those actions, you just generally crush it. I don't know about you, bro. If I think of every big event that I've had, is almost nothing ever just came to me and was like, dude, do you want the thing? Like I had to take some kind of action to do something somewhere along the line to get the thing.
Agree with you 100%. And it's weird because I always preach like daily consistency and accountability and everything, right? You're showing up every day and moving the needle on the things that make you money. But there are so many areas of my life where I just showed up to a thing and I didn't know that it was going to make me money. And I can now look back in retrospect and see directly a correlation between when I showed up and I did that thing and then when I made a bunch of capital. Like a quick example is one of my good friends just exited, about a year ago, he exited an e-commerce business. I think he sold for something like it was like 7 mil, something along those lines. It's like, a reasonable chunk of capital. He's a very successful e-commerce entrepreneur. And yeah, he just took a few months off and, did a bunch of stuff. He's on a cool boating trip right now. So man's like, enjoying life. And so we just went on like a long walk after. And it was a beautiful park day in Calgary. And I was just talking to him about my business. And he just said one random thing that he didn't even think of. Like to him, it wasn't even a big deal. But I was talking about one of my communities, Make Money with Make, and how I couldn't grow past, like, I don't know, $25,000 or $30,000 a month or something. And he's just like, well, like, you have a big wait list. Have you ever thought about charging annual? And I was like, no, I guess I never have. Anyway, directly because of that one statement that he made, because I just chose to go on a walk with this guy or whatever, that has probably led to me making over 150 grand in the last year. Like that one statement that he just came out of his mouth, $150,000. Like, so it's weird. Like I'm starting to see just the patterns here when you do take people up on those opportunities, or when you just apply like a little bit of that business serendipity. But it's wild how such tiny little things that don't even seem like a big deal to the person that is recommending them. Like when I went to the school games, for instance, and I just saw Sam said something really just, again, off the cuff that he probably didn't even think was a big deal, but he's like, short form's kind of like Tinder for long form, isn't it? And I was like, what?
Mm.
Like, he's like, yeah, you need to swipe, and then that goes to
Write
your
that
long
down.
form.
Get that, write that, yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? Anyway, I
Wow.
guess the point I'm trying to make is the only reason why I ended up getting benefits associated from this thing is because I just decided to do the thing. So I think the main takeaway here is just like more action is obviously better than less action. You can take a lot more opportunities than you realistically think you can at the beginning. And if I was at the start line of my business, let's say I had a revenue of under $100,000 a year, I'd probably be saying yes to just like everything until my 16-hour calendar day was full, just because serendipity has led to so much success for me.
Yeah, I love that, bro. I love the Tinder analogy. We can double click on that in a second, actually. It's like my dog Dexter, he's on in my arm, actually. He understands the proximity principle. He knows that if I'm eating like steak, if Dexter is nearby me, his like consumption of steak goes up. He knows that if he's around, he's likely to get steak because he understands proximity, right? Like to get the steak, I need to be around the steak. And it's the exact same thing with entrepreneurs, right, bro? Like the entrepreneurs you hang around and stuff, they just drop this little, just being around the right audience and community drives better outcomes. But what's really interesting to me is the action part of the equation is like the knowledge plus the action. Where, for example, the $100 million money models thing has come out, but like probably a week ago at the time of this podcast releasing. But what's interesting to me is what have you done about it? Part of the question. Like lots of interesting knowledge, people looking through it, but what action have you taken that's different as a result of what you actually listen to? So I spent past couple of days going through the money models and thinking about it. And maybe actually, bro, we could share maybe one thing that we're both working on and
Yeah.
business wise. So I'll share one for me. So for those who haven't seen the money models thing, the concept of this book is you've got 50 lemons on a table, which are your customers. How do we squeeze as much lemon juice from us as possible in an ethical and the lemons are happy about it kind of way, right? These are consenting lemons. I must emphasize, okay? They want to be squeezed. So that's the question, right? And the approach that I look at this is systems. You do not build an entire 50-part system on one go. You add one aspect of a system every week consistently going forward. So there's like 4 elements to it. The first one being getting more people to be customers. And then there's like, how do you maximize LTV and stuff like that? So one of the systems we're going to build now is going to be on the attraction side. So I've actually done a lot of I think I sent you some examples, some like funnel hacking of how do you actually get more customers beyond offer? So like our funnel is really funny, bro, isn't it? Because we basically yap on YouTube, we have a link, they click the link, and then they join. And that's literally as sophisticated as it gets. So the question I've been asking is like, what series of systems can we add in to kind of make that and basically just like skyrocket that? So that's a part of the focus that I've had in the past week, actually.